Good morning, Guardians. Briar Rabbit here. Over the last couple of weeks, I've seen a lot of speculation that we will be seeing some kind of a preview for Destiny 2 at the PlayStation Experience. Destiny 2, we know, is coming in 2017, or at least we hope that it doesn't get delayed. But Activision has come out and said, yes, 2017 is the year for Destiny 2. We don't know exactly when. A lot of us will assume that it's in September because that's when Bungie likes to release their games. And a lot of people have been thinking, you know what? PlayStation Experience coming up in December would be an awesome time for Bungie to get out there and start showing some teaser footage or some even playable demos for Destiny 2. And I don't really think that's the case. But to explore this topic, I really want to look back and see what Bungie has done at PlayStation Experiences in the past. Now, the PlayStation Experience is about 3 years old. And for the last two, Destiny's had a very strong presence. In fact, they've been there for all three of the PlayStation Experiences. 2 years ago, in 2014, Bungie actually showed off the DLC, The Dark Below, and last year, in 2015, we all went expecting to see the next big DLC for Destiny, but what instead we got was the Sparrow Racing League. And my suspicion is, this week, we will be seeing more Sparrow Racing League. We'll be seeing the winter event for Destiny. I do expect that the Sparrow Racing League is going to be somewhat expanded compared to what it was last year. There will be some kind of a PvE component to it. I'm not expecting much of a PvE component, but a little something, a little bit more than we saw last year from the Sparrow Racing League. But I don't expect to see a teaser or a poster or a trailer for Destiny 2. I expect to wait until E3 to really start seeing a lot of press about Destiny 2. I'm not saying that's a good idea. To be honest with you, if I was Bungie, I would at least show off a poster or a teaser image, maybe just like a title screen that just shows Destiny 2 at PlayStation Extreme or Experience, just because there's a lot of, let's call it, anxiousness about the next 9 months of Destiny. Last year, we had a similar feeling. We were coming off of the Taken King, which, in all fairness, was a much bigger expansion than the Rise of Iron. But we felt like we didn't know what the future held for Destiny last year. And Bungie responded to this by showing us the Sparrow Racing League, hinting at what would later become Crimson Doubles, and also what would later become the Spring Update. This year, we don't really know what lies ahead past the Sparrow Racing League. We know that Destiny 2 is coming. We know it's coming in 2017. We're not sure when. If it came in the spring, that would be amazing. But we suspect it's coming in the fall. And that leaves a very long time until we get new content for Destiny. Now, maybe they could do something like the Spring Update again this year. Maybe they bring back all the old raids, update all the raid weapons. Maybe they add some new weapons into the game. Who knows? Maybe they update Prison of Elders yet again. Who knows what they're going to do for this year, but it's time for Bungie definitely to start sharing that information with us, because especially for PvE players of Destiny, the content has been pretty dry for a full year now. We got the Taken King. The content dried up for the Taken King. We waited patiently for the Spring Update. There was very little PvE activity in the Spring Update. We got Rise of Iron. Rise of Iron was a smaller DLC than the Taken King, and we've been just kind of patiently waiting, right? We play what they give us. We enjoy what they give us, to be sure. But we certainly would like to see a return to year one standards of DLC development and releases. That just hasn't come. So a lot of players are really kind of setting their sights on Destiny 2 right now. A lot of content creators, a lot of streamers, and a lot of just regular old players. And I think it's a mistake to expect them to release information about Destiny 2 at the PlayStation Experience, because they've made no indication that that's what they're going to do. Every indication that I've seen, whether it be in This Week at Bungie or by random tweets by Bungie employees, seems to indicate, an emphasis on speed and competition, which would indicate to me a strong focus on the Sparrow Racing League. Now, I am looking forward to the Sparrow Racing League. I'll be honest with you, I was very disappointed last year when instead of announcing a new DLC at the PlayStation Experience, they announced the Sparrow Racing League. But that disappointment was not about the Sparrow Racing League, but about the lack of a new DLC. And this year, I expect that. I expect to see the Sparrow Racing League. I hope to see a little bit more PvE content come along with it. But I'm really starting to wonder, are we going to start hearing about a February update or a February live team event or a spring update? Are we going to be getting Destiny 2 in the fall? So if I was Bungie, I would definitely show off something at the PlayStation Experience. Whether it's just a title screen that just kind of teases appetites for Destiny 2 but doesn't actually show off any content, a poster for Destiny 2 with just Destiny 2 on it, anything like that is what I would do. But I don't expect to see that because there's been no indication from Bungie that that's what's going to happen, and there's been no leaked information. It's very hard for Bungie to put information out into the public without it getting leaked beforehand at this point. We saw that with Rise of Iron, for sure. We even saw it with the Taken King. We've seen it basically throughout the development of Destiny. There seems to be some pretty large holes over at Bungie as far as leaks go, and unless they've figured out a way to plug those, which I don't think they have based on Jason Schreier's articles, I would expect to see some kind of indication that we'd be seeing something about Destiny 2, and we're just not seeing that. So I would set my expectations accordingly. It's just not something that I'm going to get hyped up about until, E3 comes along. Now, some people would argue that the reason we haven't seen anything about Destiny 2 is because Bungie's playing their cards close to the chest, which is definitely their MO. This is how they try and do things. And they want to make a big splash at PlayStation Experience about Destiny 2. They want to start the hype train early, 9 months in advance for PlayStation or for Destiny 2, which is a fair thought. And it would be very exciting to see, a teaser trailer or a poster, some kind of little tidbit about Destiny 2. A release date would be amazing. Just to get us thinking about what's to come as opposed to what we're not doing right now. Because right now, similar to how we felt last year, a lot of us are feeling, there's not a whole lot of content for us in Destiny right now. If you're big into PvP, the meta right now is a little bit fucked up. And if you're into PvE, most people have basically finished off all of the PvE content available with Rise of Iron. Maybe you haven't finished off the hard mode raid, or you haven't finished the challenge modes yet. Maybe you haven't reached 400 on all 3 of your characters. But for the most part, you've played all of the content available and are looking forward to the next thing. I certainly am. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the next thing is going to be in Destiny. And Sparrow Racing League, while I certainly enjoyed it last year, is not a huge piece of content. It's not a DLC-sized content similar to, Rise of Iron or Dark Below or House of Wolves, which is really what I'd like to see, but I don't suspect we're going to see it. Maybe it's time for Bungie to start talking about a spring update, just to let players know that there is more coming before Destiny 2. Depending on the release date of Destiny 2, that may or may not be a good idea. If they decide to release Destiny 2 in the spring instead of the fall, which I don't suspect is going to happen, but I'd be really excited to find out is going to happen, obviously we're not going to see a spring update to Destiny 1. But we'll have to see at this point. I really wouldn't get my hopes up for a Destiny 2 trailer or release date or anything like that. I would expect Bungie to stay silent on Destiny 2 until the spring. I would expect to see a lot of information about Sparrow Racing League, maybe a little bit of information about what the PvE content is going to be. I would like to see Bungie start to talk about the future of Destiny 1. Are we going to see some of this stuff that we saw last year? Or is it going to be a content drought for the rest of the year until we see Destiny 2? Which, in all fairness, that's an acceptable situation, I feel like. It's disappointing, to be sure. But if all hands are on deck working on Destiny 2, you can certainly understand a lack of content for Destiny 1 in year 3 of the game's life cycle. So that's what I think. I wouldn't expect a whole lot from the PlayStation Experience as far as Destiny 2. But I would certainly think it's a good idea for Destiny to start sharing. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time.